Welcome to the Back to Life podcast, where we explore living well, loving well, and being well. I'm your host, Nicole, and I invite you to tune in for inspirational conversations to get you back to life. Let's get started. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Back to Life podcast. I'm Nicole, your host, and we made it to the last episode of this Imagine Me series. Can you believe it? This series has been all about breaking free from what holds us back, whether it's insecurity, fear, people-pleasing, or just the weight of life. But today we're going to travel a little bit lighter and step into freedom. Sounds like that's a good word, isn't it? Just to think about it, freedom. So this episode is called Imagine Me Finally Free. So I know that freedom sounds really good, but a lot of us are like, what does that even look like in real life, right? Because sometimes life feels like one big struggle. But today we're going to talk about what it means to truly live in freedom. Freedom from all that stuff that has kept us small, things that keep us stuck. And we're going to talk about how we can walk in authenticity and hope, no longer bound by the things that tried to hold us down. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, first let's pause. What does it mean to live in freedom? Okay, y'all, freedom is more than just feeling like you can do whatever you want. Real freedom, that's when you're no longer trapped by fear, insecurities, or that baggage from your past that's been weighing you down far too long. It's like walking into who you truly are, flaws and all. And it's not feeling like you have to apologize for it. But let's be real, we don't always get there easily. A lot of us have been through things that made us feel like we had to hide parts of ourselves. I mean, maybe you grew up feeling like you weren't good enough, or maybe people around you made you feel small, so you started to believe that you were. But here's the thing. Freedom means shedding all of that, letting go of the lies that we've been told and the lies we sometimes just start to tell ourselves. So the first thing we got to do is pause and recognize what freedom means for us personally. What's been holding you back? What's kept you from being the most authentic version of yourself? Let's sit with that for a second. I know for me, this journey for freedom or towards freedom started when I realized that I didn't have to fit into anyone else's mold. You know, the mold that society or even our own families might create for us. I used to think I had to meet everyone's expectations, but once I gave myself permission to be me, flaws and all, unapologetically, that's when the weight started to lift and I began to take those steps towards freedom. And I'll tell you, it was hard and it still is sometimes, but it didn't happen. It's not happening overnight. But I really have to pause and get honest with myself. And I encourage you to do the same. For me, I had to let some things go, and I'm still in the process of doing that. There are a lot of things that I had clung to for way too long, and they really weren't beneficial to my existence. But coming to terms with that can be a sobering thought, and it's difficult. But here's the thing, on the other side of that is freedom. So I want to ask you right now, what's keeping you from living authentically? I mean, can you embrace all of you, flaws and all? Or are you allowing the fear of judgment, fear of failure, or maybe holding on to something from the past that still influences how you live today? Take a moment and pause and think about that. Freedom isn't just about breaking free from something. It's about walking into something better, a more excellent way, where you're not weighed down by those expectations, mistakes, or fear. Friend, freedom is right here waiting for you. All right. So now that we've paused, let's ponder this. What does it look like to embrace imperfection and self-acceptance? Okay, let me tell you, it's a journey. This journey to freedom is messy, and it's not about being perfect. It's about embracing who you are and accepting your imperfections. I mean, it's not like you wake up one day and all of a sudden you're free from insecurity or doubt. Nah, it's a process. But it's a process that is so worth it, because the more you accept all of who you are, the more space you create to live freely. And let me be real with y'all. I had to go through this myself. Like I told you earlier, I'm still going through it. And I used to be so stuck on being perfect or trying to make sure everybody liked me and no one had anything bad to say. I had to do this just the right way and all of that. But you know what? That was a prison cell. And I wanted to break out. Perfection is exhausting, unrealistic, and it's unattainable. It's exhausting trying to meet everyone else's expectations. And guess what? You will never please everyone. Never. The internet is proof of that. One of the most freeing things we can do is accept that we are a work in progress. And that's where authenticity comes in. We can stop pretending to have it all together, and we can just be our real authentic selves. Think about that. How much energy are you spending trying to be perfect or trying to fit into a box that doesn't even feel like you? It's like a mask. So here's a question we got to ask ourselves. Am I willing to let go of perfection and just be me? Imperfect, sometimes messy, most of the time not having it all together, but still worthy of love, respect, and good things. And that's where freedom lives. In the space where you can say, I am enough just as I am. Freedom means being okay with being a little messy, being in progress, and still showing up as yourself every day. That takes courage. And it means giving yourself grace on the days when you feel like you've fallen short. Because hey, newsflash, we've all fallen short. So you're not alone in that. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love, acceptance, or success. You already are. All right, finally, let's prepare for the future. You've let go of the past. You've set boundaries. You started walking in confidence. Now it's time to cultivate hope for the future and sustain this newfound freedom. But how do we live authentically and stay hopeful even when life throws us curveballs? Because, life is lifing, right? Here's the thing. Cultivating hope for the future isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's not about wearing that mask. We've already established that perfectionism is a trap. Hope is about trusting that no matter what comes your way, you have been given the strength, the resilience, and the grace to handle it. So what does that actually look like? It looks like daily practices that reinforce your freedom. For me, that includes regular self-reflection. I have said it before, I journal often about where I've been and where I'm going and where I want to be. It helps me to stay grounded in the truth that I am free from the things that used to hold me down. For you, it could mean the following. Here's 4 things. 1, starting with self-acceptance, right? Every day, remind yourself that you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You're allowed to be a work in progress, and that is beautiful. Number 2, surround yourself with people who support your growth. This is really important. Your circle, your cheerleading team, all of this is important. Listen, not everybody is meant to be in your life forever. You've heard about the reason, season, and lifetime folks, right? The people in your life should lift you and challenge you to be and do better, not chain you to old patterns. If someone is constantly trying to make you doubt yourself, it might be time to set some new boundaries or, in some cases, walk away. Some people will try to keep you in the box they put you in years ago. But freedom means saying, nope, I'm not staying small. for anybody. Get around people who celebrate you, who encourage your growth, and who remind you to shine your light because you matter in this world. And do some self-reflection to see what you can control and what you can change for yourself. Number 3, lay it down and let it go. This is a big one. A lot of us are carrying around guilt and shame from mistakes we made or situations that we found ourselves in the past. Friend, let it go. Forgiveness is so important because we don't need that weight in our life. If God has forgiven you, who are you not to forgive yourself? Holding on to that stuff only keeps you stuck. Let it go and give yourself the grace to move forward. And finally, number 4, stay hopeful. No matter what's happened in your past, your future can still be full of hope and possibility. Your story's not over, and every day is a chance to write a new chapter. Hope is what keeps us moving forward, even when we don't know what's around the corner. It's the belief that no matter what happens, we have the strength to face it. Hope is what allows us to dream, to imagine a future that's even better than our present. So, I want you to prepare for that future by building hope in your everyday life, in the present. Practice gratitude, surround yourself with positivity, and most of all, believe it is possible. So now, before we close, I want to leave you with this. All right, sit back, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. I want you to imagine yourself finally free. Free from fear, free from insecurity, free from the past. What does that feel like? What would your life look like if you lived in full authenticity and hope? How would your relationships change? How would your mindset change? I mean, just imagine. What would your life look like if you truly walked in freedom? If you let go of all the things that you've been keeping, that have been keeping you small, if you accepted yourself, flaws and all, and believe that you are worthy of every good thing that's coming your way, what would that change for you? I know what it would change for me. And I want you to hold on to that vision and take a moment to reflect on that. Just a moment to imagine yourself. Freedom isn't just something you dream about. It's something you can live out starting today. Let that sink in for a minute. All right, y'all. This has been such a powerful series, and I hope it's encouraged you as it has encouraged me. I truly believe that freedom is within reach for all of us. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all together because who really does anyway, right? You just have to have the courage to show up as you with all the strength, the resilience, and the beauty you already have inside. So as we wrap up this episode and this season, I want you to remember you are already enough. You are already worthy, and the freedom that you want is yours for the taking. No more letting fear, insecurity, or the past hold you back because you got this, friend. Well, that's all for today's episode, and we are wrapping up season 2 of the Back to Life podcast. Thank you so much for rocking with me this season. I'll be taking a little break for the holidays to rest and renew, but we'll be back in the new year with season 3. So stay tuned for that. If you've enjoyed this season, I'd love for you to leave a review and share it with a friend who might need to hear these messages. In the meantime, you can also stay connected with me on Instagram at BeWellWithNicoleG. And remember, you have the power to live free, authentic, and hopeful. Keep showing up for yourself, keep doing the work, and keep walking in freedom. And as always, be well. Y'all, I'll see you back for season 3. Take care of yourself. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories about this series that we're talking about. You can follow us online at our website or on socials, and information about that is in the show notes. Be well.